Alright guys, so if you follow the channel at all, you know up to this point that the SHOKZ OpenFit Pro is probably my product of the year. I haven't seen anything top it. It's an open ear style earbud that checked off so many boxes, and even some I didn't realize were possible with open ear style earbuds. And honestly, up to this point, there hasn't been like a true competitor or competition for those. But I think the pair that we're going to check out today, which is the Cleer Arc 5, this is the first one that I would put up against those. Is actually, maybe even head to head as far as some features, sound quality, and some things like that. And to start with, the price tag actually comes in under the SHOKZ OpenFit Pros, because the Cleer Arc 5 normally retails at $219, but right now you can actually pick them up for $187. So that is definitely cheaper than the $249 of the SHOKZ OpenFit Pro. But in the end, we still need to see if everything here kind of justifies the price tag on the Arc 5. Now, the first thing I want to point out is, yeah, it's an open ear style earbud. It's not really meant to compare with normal true wireless earbuds or headphones or anything like that, because this type of style is made to be where you can kind of be aware of your surroundings. So you're not getting the isolation because you don't have ear tips. This is the ear hook style that kind of hovers over your ear canal, which again kind of allows you to be aware of your surroundings. Now, the first thing that I do want to point out that the Arc 5 does not have, that the OpenFit Pro does have, is noise canceling or noise reduction. So there's no mode here to kind of isolate the sounds around you. But honestly, in this style of earbud, once you start to turn the volume up, it already tends to block out a lot of the things around you anyway. But as far as some of the features, they do have Dolby Atmos support, which I am going to say works extremely well when it comes to using these with my PC. I am not a fan of Dolby Atmos when it comes to using them with mobile devices. Again, it's just some weird effect that I personally don't like. But for some reason, I don't know if it's the drivers or whatever with the PC, Dolby Atmos support sounds fantastic when it comes to that. This pair also supports THX spatial audio. So as far as spatial audio, it's kind of made to replicate having all of these speakers around you. It even has a head tracking mode. So again, it can kind of move around depending on how your head's moving. Again, this is another feature that a lot of people are a big fan of. I am not personally, because I use my earbuds mainly for music, and spatial audio always tends to destroy music. It just takes away from really the way that it's supposed to be heard. It does do a great job with movies and games. So when I was testing these while gaming, it sounded fantastic. It did a really good job of being able to kind of pinpoint where everything was coming from. So the THX is beneficial in some areas. Some other features is it is high-res wireless certified. In fact, this one even supports Snapdragon sound. So if you do have a device that has Snapdragon sound, you could take advantage of this. It has aptX adaptive Bluetooth codecs. It has LDAC. It even supports LE audio or low energy audio. So there's a lot of really good playback options when it comes to the Arc 5. The earbuds themselves do have both touch controls and button controls, but on top of that, it also has head gesture controls. So you can go within the app, turn this on so that you can change the track just by like turning your head to the left twice. You could turn your head to the right twice to make it go to the next track. I would kind of recommend just doing this if you're in your room alone. I think if I was out in public and I was doing this, it would look like I have like a weird tic or something's wrong with me. But these features actually do work really well. And you can go within the app to customize this, but I am happy to say that you do get control over all of your controls just the way it is out of the box. As far as Bluetooth technology, it isn't the latest and greatest. It is only Bluetooth 5.4, but I didn't have any kind of issues with connections or lag or anything like that. It does allow it to support multi-point connections, so you can be connected to more than one device at a time. So that is a huge plus. And then the case on these, I think, is very interesting. It does have an AMOLED screen on the front. It's touch control, and all of the controls and all of the things that you would do within the app, most of it you can do right here on the case itself. And I think that's really convenient because I like listening to music and then putting my phone down. I don't like to be distracted with certain things. So being able to do a lot of that on the case kind of disconnects you from that. And then the case also has UVC sanitation. So when you put the earbuds back in, you'll see like a blue light come on underneath the earbuds, and it's sanitizing the earbuds themselves. So that is actually kind of nice. So those are going to be some of the things that you are paying for that you don't normally pay for on some inexpensive open ears. And you also kind of have to keep in mind, if you're going to have Dolby Atmos support or THX certification, some companies have to go through, and it does actually cost a lot extra to get those type of certifications. So again, that's some of the things that consumers are paying for on the back end. Now, as far as some other things, and this to me is very important in a style of earbud like this, is the earbuds do come in rated at IPX7, which kind of teeters it along the line of being waterproof. And the huge plus here is this style of earbud is made to be worn all day, so you can wear it, and if it starts to rain, it's fine. If you sweat heavily, it's fine. And actually, if you happen to just be by the pool or something and it falls out of your ear and drops into the water, it's going to be able to survive that as well. So it's not one of those that you have to be careful with all day. So that is a huge plus. And then speaking of all day, the battery life on these is very impressive, because if you're going to use them with the LDAC off and the THX off and all of that kind of stuff, because those things do affect your battery life, you can actually get 12 hours of battery life on the earbuds themselves. And with the charging case, you can actually get 60 hours total. It also has a fast charging feature where a 5-minute charge is going to get you 2 hours of use. So battery life is very impressive, which again is important on a pair that's made to be worn all day. You don't really have to worry about charging them in the middle of the day. It's going to be able to last you through a full workday with no issue. And then when it comes to using these with taking phone calls, this is another area that these are very impressive in, because they are using Qualcomm's aptX voice, and it's using 4 microphones for the phone calls, and it also has wind reduction. So you could even be out on a windy day and you're trying to talk to somebody on the phone, and it is not going to have that wind interfere with your phone call. But aptX voice, I've always had really good experiences with. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a quick test here. So here is a quick mic test outdoors using the Arc 5. I actually can hear construction off to this side of me, so this should give you a good idea of what it sounds like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. Now, the first thing I want to point out is these have what Cleer calls DBE 4.0, or basically Dynamic Bass Enhancement 4.0. And this is what we've seen in some other earbuds. They all have different names or whatever, but this basically allows this style of earbud to have really good bass or really good punch no matter what volume you're listening in. Because if they don't have something similar to this, a lot of open ear style earbuds seem thin. They seem pretty flat. They don't have that punch when it comes to the low end or that subwoofer type feel. And the DBE 4.0 is definitely checking that box, because these have some pretty nice impact. But the huge plus here is it doesn't come in and just destroy everything else. The bass can have that prominent feel, but the mids don't suffer, because vocalists, both male and female vocalists, come through extremely clear. Guitars have a really nice tone to them. The treble on these, I would not say is bright or overly harsh. I would definitely say that it picks up a lot of details, but I would kind of describe the sound overall to be slightly warm. So the bass at that point, I will say, is making everything kind of have a warmer tone to it. But the plus here is it does sound a little bit more natural. It doesn't have as artificial of a sound, because the treble is not peaking or having that, overly sharp sound to it. There's no sibilant sound with S's. The crash of the cymbals sound very clean, and everything to me just kind of blends extremely well. Now, this is with the EQ the way that it is out of the box, which is labeled as flat. I actually like the flat. I think it does a really good job across all genres. I did notice with rock, I did like to switch it into the rock EQ because it kind of pushed the mids a little bit more forward. So it's going to bring out guitars a little bit, and it's going to push the vocalist just a little bit more forward. Again, I could leave it on flat and I would be completely happy. This is just one genre that I found that I like to switch it in every now and then, especially if it's going to be certain songs where there's just a lot going on. Now, when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging, this one's kind of a no-brainer. Because of this design, it does make it sound like you're in a very large open area, and you definitely have no issue being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. So my overall opinion on these is this. If you are looking at the SHOKZ OpenFit Pro and the noise canceling is a feature that you don't necessarily need, the Cleer Arc 5 actually is a really good competitor to the OpenFit Pro because the sound quality is excellent on these. A lot of the features you do not see in other open ear style earbuds, and the screen on the case is very convenient. Again, I can't stress enough how nice it is to just kind of disconnect from your device so that you're not having your phone in your hand. It's easy to get distracted with your phone. And I just, again, I think it's nice to disconnect from that every now and then. And the screen on the case allows you to do that. But the other thing is, especially with movies and games, the Dolby Atmos, if I was using it on my PC, I absolutely love using it that way. Although initially the sticker shock of being $219 or right now $187 is going to seem like a lot for an open ear style earbud, but it definitely falls into that premium category, and it definitely competes with, again, one of my favorite products, which is the SHOKZ OpenFit Pros, and those come in at $250. But I use them all the time, so that's what kind of justifies the price tag for me. And if you're somebody that's looking for something that you're going to use every day, all day, and in all these different situations, that's where products like these start to make sense. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new Cleer Arc 5. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.